Most people believe success is about talent or luck. They think the people at the top have some kind of special advantage, a gift, a head start, better circumstances. But that's not the truth. The people who achieve lasting success, the ones who rise to the top and stay there, are the ones who have mastered the art of daily excellence. Because success is not built in a day. It's built in the daily choices you make when no one is paying attention. It's built in the early mornings, the late nights, the extra effort that most people aren't willing to give. It's built in the decision to show up, even when you don't feel like it, to push through the resistance, to stick to the process. Excellence is not a feeling. It's not something you chase. It's something you become through your daily habits. And here's the truth most people miss. Excellence is not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's not about getting it right every time. It's about showing up and giving your best effort every single day. It's about having a standard for yourself that is non-negotiable. A mindset that says, I don't lower my standards to match the world. I raise my standards to shape the world. When you develop the habit of daily excellence, success becomes inevitable. You stop chasing results and you start attracting them. You stop relying on motivation and you start running on discipline. You stop waiting for the right moment and you start creating momentum through consistent action. So the question is, how do you build the mindset, the habits, and the systems that create excellence every day? How do you train yourself to operate at a higher standard automatically until it becomes who you are? That's exactly what we're going to cover. Not theories, not vague ideas, but real practical habits that you can apply immediately. Habits that have been tested and proven. Habits that will rewire your mind, sharpen your focus, and elevate your performance. Excellence is not a destination. It's not a result. It's a way of being. And once you learn how to master it, every single day, you'll separate yourself from the crowd. The first habit of daily excellence is mastering your mornings. The way you start your day determines the way you live your day. If you begin with discipline, focus, and purpose, those qualities will carry into everything else you do. But if you start in a reactive state, hitting snooze, rushing through the morning, you set yourself up for distraction, procrastination, and inconsistency. Excellence begins before the world wakes up. It begins when you take control of the first moments of your day. Because if you can win the morning, you can win the day. The key is not just waking up early, it's how you wake up. The best performers in the world wake up with intention. They start their day with purpose, not by accident. Before they do anything else, they prime their mind for excellence. Some use affirmations, some journal, some meditate, some move their body to wake up their physiology. But they all have one thing in common. They control their first thoughts, their first actions, and their first priorities. If you want to master daily excellence, your mornings must be non-negotiable. You must create a routine that strengthens your mindset, energizes your body, and focuses your attention on what matters most. Even 10 minutes of focused morning practice can rewire your brain and shift your entire day. The mistake most people make is waiting to feel like doing it. They wait for motivation to get up early. They wait until they have the energy to start strong. But that's not how excellence works. If you wait to feel ready, you'll stay stuck in the same patterns. Instead, you train yourself to wake up and move, no matter how you feel. One of the simplest but most powerful habits is getting up as soon as your alarm goes off. The moment you hit snooze, you are training your mind to procrastinate. You are conditioning yourself to break commitments. And that carries into everything else you do. But if you make waking up immediately a rule, no debate, no delay, you build the habit of instant execution. When you start your day with discipline, you carry that discipline into your work, your goals, your decisions. When you start your day with focus, you train your brain to filter out distractions. When you start your day with energy, you perform at a higher level in everything you do. Success does not start with big achievements. It starts with small, intentional choices. And if you can master your mornings, you'll gain control over the rest of your day. The second habit of daily excellence is controlling your focus. Your attention is your most valuable resource. Whatever you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, you create more stress. If you focus on distractions, you waste time and energy. But if you direct your attention toward growth, execution, and results, your actions will align with success. Most people never train their focus. They wake up with good intentions, but by the end of the day, they wonder where their time went. Excellence doesn't work that way. It requires deliberate control over what gets your attention. The people who dominate in life are not necessarily smarter or more talented. They simply know how to eliminate distractions and lock in on what matters. They don't let the outside world dictate their priorities. They don't allow every message, every request, or every interruption to pull them away from their mission. You must train your mind to focus like a laser. And the best way to do this is by setting clear rules for your attention. Block out time for deep work. Protect your focus as if it were the most important thing in your life, because it is. Excellence is built in the moments when you choose discipline over distraction. Every time you say no to something meaningless and say yes to your mission, you reinforce the habit of concentration. Distractions don't just waste time, they drain energy. Every time you switch tasks, your brain has to recalibrate. It takes effort to refocus. This is why most people feel exhausted at the end of the day, even if they didn't accomplish much. They spent the day jumping from one thing to the next, never fully locked in. The highest performers operate differently. They create blocks of deep, uninterrupted work. They train their brain to stay on one task for extended periods. And as a result, they get more done in a few focused hours than most people do in an entire day. If you want to rewire your mind for excellence, you must learn to guard your focus. Start by removing the biggest sources of distraction in your life. Control your environment. Be ruthless with your time. And most importantly, develop the discipline to keep your attention on one thing at a time. The third habit of daily excellence is mastering your self-discipline. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not intelligence. The people who win in life are the ones who can make themselves do what needs to be done, especially when they don't feel like it. Most people rely on motivation. They wait until they feel inspired. They wait until the conditions are perfect. They wait until they're in the mood. And that's why they stay stuck, because motivation is temporary. It's unpredictable. It comes and goes. But discipline, that's permanent. That's something you build. Discipline is a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. And just like a muscle, if you don't use it, it weakens. Every time you make an excuse, every time you procrastinate, every time you let yourself off the hook, you make that muscle weaker. But every time you follow through, every time you push yourself, every time you keep a commitment, you strengthen it. The secret to building discipline is to eliminate negotiation. Most people lose the battle before they even start. because they allow their mind to negotiate. Should I go to the gym or take the day off? Should I work on my goals or relax? Should I do it now or later? That back and forth drains your energy. It gives your mind an opportunity to find an excuse. The best performers don't negotiate with themselves. They don't wait for motivation. They don't ask how they feel. They don't debate whether they should follow through. They just do it because it's who they are, because they've trained themselves to act automatically. Discipline is about making a decision once and then never debating it again. If you decide you're the kind of person who wakes up early, then there's no discussion when the alarm goes off. If you decide you're the kind of person who works out daily, then it's non-negotiable. If you decide you're the kind of person who follows through on commitments, then it doesn't matter how you feel in the moment. The easiest way to build discipline is to start with small daily commitments. Even something as simple as making your bed, drinking water first thing in the morning, or sticking to a set routine. Because every time you keep a small promise to yourself, you train your mind to follow through. And that carries over into bigger decisions, bigger goals, and bigger results. Discipline isn't about doing things perfectly. It's about doing them consistently. Some days will be harder than others. Some days, the last thing you want to do is stick to the plan. But that's when it matters most. That's when you build the kind of discipline that separates you from everyone else. The fourth habit of daily excellence is developing relentless consistency. Most people start strong, but very few stay consistent. They get excited. They commit to new habits. They feel unstoppable. But then something happens. Life gets in the way. Their energy dips. They miss a day, then two, then three. And before they know it, they're back to square one. Excellence isn't about what you do once in a while. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. It's better to do something small every single day than to go all out for a week and then quit. The highest performers in the world aren't the ones who go the hardest in short bursts. They are the ones who show up day after day, no matter what. Consistency is the foundation of everything great. Success in any area, fitness, business, personal growth, relationships, comes down to your ability to keep showing up, even when the motivation is gone, even when the results aren't immediate, even when no one else is watching. Most people fail because they expect results too quickly. They work hard for a few weeks, but when they don't see instant progress, they assume it's not working. But that's not how success happens. Growth isn't linear. The results don't come right away. They compound over time. And if you quit too soon, you never reach the breakthrough. The people who achieve excellence understand this. They don't stop just because they don't see results right away. They keep going. They trust the process. They know that consistency creates momentum, and momentum leads to massive transformation. The key to relentless consistency is removing the decision-making process. When something is optional, it becomes negotiable. But when it's a must, it gets done, no matter what. You don't wake up and wonder if you should brush your teeth. You just do it because it's part of your identity. It's who you are. If you want to be consistent, you must approach your habits the same way. Working on your goals is not optional. Training your body is not optional. Sticking to your commitments is not optional. You don't do it when it's convenient. You don't do it when you feel like it. You do it because that's the standard you've set for yourself. The biggest mistake people make is relying on willpower. Willpower is unreliable. It fluctuates. Some days it's strong, some days it's weak. And if your success depends on how much willpower you have in the moment, you'll always struggle to stay consistent. The best way to eliminate the need for willpower is to create systems. Systems make success automatic. They remove the friction between you and the action you need to take. They make it easier to be consistent because you don't have to think about it. You just follow the plan. A system could be a set time every day for your most important habit. It could be preparing in advance so that taking action becomes effortless. It could be tracking your progress to reinforce your commitment. Whatever it is, the goal is the same. Take the decision out of the process so that consistency becomes natural. Another secret to consistency is lowering the barrier to entry. Most people set themselves up for failure by making their goals too overwhelming. They tell themselves they need to work out for an hour, write for 3 hours, or make huge progress every day. But when life gets busy, those expectations become impossible to maintain. Excellence is not about going all out. It's about never stopping. Even if you only have 10 minutes, do something. Even if you're tired, take some action. Even if you're not at your best, keep the streak alive. Because the moment you stop completely, it becomes easier to quit. But if you keep the habit alive, no matter how small, you maintain your momentum. Consistency isn't about perfection. You will have days where you slip up. You will have moments where life gets in the way. That's normal. What matters is that you get back on track immediately. Most people let one missed day turn into a missed week, then a missed month, and then they're back at zero. But the ones who master consistency, they never let one mistake break their momentum. If you want to build relentless consistency, you must hold yourself to a higher standard. You must see yourself as the kind of person who follows through no matter what. You must make your habits non-negotiable and remove the mental debate. And most importantly, you must keep going, even when you don't see results right away. The fifth habit of daily excellence is setting and maintaining high personal standards. Your standards dictate your results. You don't get what you want in life. You get what you tolerate. If you accept mediocrity, that's exactly what you'll experience. If you demand excellence from yourself, your life will rise to meet that standard. Most people lower their standards to match their environment. They adapt to the people around them. If they work in a lazy, unmotivated culture, they start making excuses. If they surround themselves with average thinkers, they start thinking small. If they see others cutting corners, they start doing the same. But excellence is not about adapting to your environment. It's about setting the standard, regardless of what's happening around you. It's about refusing to accept anything less than your best effort. It's about holding yourself accountable to a higher level of discipline, focus, and execution. Your personal standards determine the way you show up every day. If your standard is to do the bare minimum, that's exactly what you'll do. If your standard is to only take action when you feel like it, you'll stay inconsistent. But if your standard is to perform at your highest level, no matter the circumstances, you will separate yourself from the majority. Excellence isn't about being perfect. It's about consistently striving to operate at the highest level possible. It's about choosing discipline when others choose excuses. It's about choosing focus when others choose distractions. It's about choosing to push yourself further when others would stop. The mistake most people make is letting their feelings dictate their standards. They say, I'll do it when I feel ready. Or I'll put in more effort when the results start coming. But that's backwards. Excellence is built by sticking to your standards, even when the motivation isn't there. High standards are about non-negotiables. These are the things you commit to doing, no matter what. If your standard is to be disciplined with your health, then skipping workouts is not an option. If your standard is to be focused in your work, then distractions are not entertained. If your standard is to be reliable, then following through on commitments is mandatory. You must decide what your non-negotiables are. And once you do, you must enforce them ruthlessly. Because every time you lower your standards, even slightly, you reinforce the habit of making excuses. But every time you hold the line, you reinforce the identity of someone who does what they say they will do. One of the fastest ways to raise your standards is to change your environment. If you spend time around people who accept average effort, it's only a matter of time before you do the same. But if you surround yourself with people who demand more from themselves, who operate at a high level every day, you will naturally elevate. Excellence is contagious. If you put yourself in an environment where high standards are the norm, you won't have to force yourself to rise. You'll rise automatically. You won't tolerate laziness. You won't tolerate inconsistency. You won't tolerate mediocrity because it will no longer feel normal to you. But your environment is only part of the equation. The real test of your standards happens when no one is watching, when there's no one there to hold you accountable, when it would be easy to cut corners, to slack off, to give less than your best. That's when your standards truly matter. Discipline is doing the right thing when no one would know if you didn't. It's pushing yourself even when there's no immediate reward. It's holding yourself to a higher level, even when no one else does. That's what separates the great from the average. Most people don't fail because they lack the ability. They fail because they lower their standards when things get hard. They let their emotions dictate their effort. They let setbacks make them quit. But the ones who succeed, they maintain their standards through every challenge, every failure, every obstacle. If you want to master daily excellence, you must raise your standards in every area of life, in the way you work, in the way you train, in the way you handle adversity, in the way you treat others. Every moment is an opportunity to reinforce the identity of someone who refuses to accept anything less than the best from themselves. The sixth habit of daily excellence is training your ability to take decisive action. Most people hesitate. They overthink, they second guess, they analyze every possible outcome before making a move. And in that hesitation, opportunities are lost. Momentum is killed, progress is delayed. Excellence is built on speed of execution, the ability to decide and take action without hesitation, the ability to trust yourself enough to make a move, even when you don't have all the answers, the ability to step forward, take risks, and adjust along the way. The people who win in life are not the ones who make the perfect decisions. They are the ones who make fast decisions. They don't wait for the stars to align. They don't waste time debating whether they should start. They don't sit in analysis paralysis. They act. And because they act, they create momentum. Hesitation is a habit. Every time you delay, every time you hesitate, every time you put off a decision, you reinforce the habit of inaction. Your brain starts associating decision-making with stress, with overthinking, with fear. And eventually, it becomes harder and harder to take action on anything. The fastest way to rewire this habit is to train yourself to act instantly. The moment you know you need to do something, move. If you need to speak up in a meeting, do it before you talk yourself out of it. If you need to make an important call, do it before doubt creeps in. If you need to start on a task, do it before your brain has time to find an excuse. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. The more you hesitate, the more your mind finds reasons not to act. But if you build the habit of moving immediately, you take away the power of hesitation. You condition yourself to be someone who takes action no matter what. The biggest lie people tell themselves is that they need more time to think, more time to plan, more time to prepare. But in reality, most of the time, thinking more doesn't lead to better decisions. It leads to no decision. It leads to overanalyzing, second guessing, and ultimately staying stuck. Decisiveness is a skill. And like any skill, it gets stronger the more you train it. The more you make quick, firm decisions, the more confident you become in your ability to figure things out. The more you trust yourself to take action, the more you realize you don't need all the answers. You just need to stop. The key to decisive action is learning to trust your instincts. Most of the time, you already know what needs to be done. Your gut tells you, your experience tells you. But instead of acting, you hesitate. You let doubt creep in. You let fear of making the wrong choice paralyze you. And in that hesitation, you lose momentum. But the most successful people in the world, they act on instinct. They trust themselves. They know that even if they make a wrong move, they can adjust. They don't fear mistakes because they know that mistakes are just part of the process. And because they don't hesitate, they move faster. They accomplish more. They gain more experience. Hesitation kills momentum, and momentum is the key to success. When you're in motion, everything gets easier. Discipline gets easier. Confidence gets stronger. Progress happens faster. But when you hesitate, you slow yourself down. You create resistance where there should be none. You turn simple decisions into impossible ones. The simplest way to train decisive action is to use the 5-second rule. The moment you know you need to act, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move, speak, start, take the first step before your mind has a chance to convince you not to. The hardest part of anything is starting. But once you start, momentum takes over. You no longer have to force yourself. You just keep moving. And the more you train yourself to start without hesitation, the easier it becomes to take action in every area of your life. If you want to achieve excellence, you must master the ability to act. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when you have more information. Now, because every great achievement, every success story, every breakthrough started with a single decisive action. The 7th habit of daily excellence is building mental toughness. Excellence isn't just about skill. It's about resilience. It's about how well you handle pressure, adversity, and setbacks. Because no matter how talented you are, no matter how hard you work, life will test you. Challenges will come. Obstacles will appear. And if you don't have the mental strength to push through, you'll break under the weight of resistance. Most people are soft. The moment things get hard, they fold. The moment they hit discomfort, they quit. The moment they experience failure, they retreat. And that's why they never reach their full potential. Because they give up too soon. Because they never train their mind to endure. Mental toughness is the ability to keep moving forward, no matter what. To perform at a high level, even when you don't feel like it. to stay locked in on your goals, even when nothing seems to be working, to push past pain, frustration, and fatigue because you refuse to settle for less than you're capable of. The biggest enemy of mental toughness is comfort. When you make life too easy for yourself, you become weak. When you avoid challenges, you stop growing. When you protect yourself from discomfort, you never build the calluses that make you unbreakable. The fastest way to build mental toughness is to put yourself in difficult situations on purpose, to do hard things every day, to challenge yourself in ways that force you to grow. Because the more you expose yourself to difficulty, the stronger you become. The more you push yourself past your limits, the more you realize that your limits were never real to begin with. Every time you push through discomfort, you rewire your mind. Every time you keep going when you want to stop, you train your brain to be relentless. Every time you choose discipline over ease, you make it harder for anything in life to break you. The people who dominate in life are not the ones who avoid failure. They are the ones who can take failure, pain, and struggle and keep going anyway. They are the ones who refuse to quit no matter how hard it gets. They are the ones who embrace the grind because they know that growth is forged in adversity. One of the best ways to develop mental toughness is through controlled hardship. Wake up earlier than you want to. Push yourself physically past your comfort zone. Take on challenges that scare you. Do the things you don't feel like doing over and over again until discomfort becomes your normal. Most people think toughness is something you're born with. It's not. It's a skill. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, if you don't train it, it stays weak. But if you put it under stress, if you push it beyond what's comfortable, it grows, it adapts, it becomes stronger. If you want to be the kind of person who never quits, you must prove it to yourself daily. You must show yourself through action that you can handle more than you think, that you are not controlled by discomfort, that you can push past mental and physical limits. The mistake most people make is thinking toughness is built in extreme moments, but it's built in the small daily choices. The choice to wake up on time, the choice to train even when you're tired, the choice to stay focused even when distractions are tempting. Those small choices add up. They create a mindset that does not break under pressure. The greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the highest achievers in the world, all have one thing in common. They can endure, they can suffer, they can face rejection, setbacks, and failure, and keep going anyway. And that is what makes them unstoppable. If you want to master daily excellence, you must train your mind to be stronger than your emotions. You must learn to push through discomfort, to take action even when you don't feel like it, to show up at a high level, even when things aren't going your way. That is the mindset that separates the elite from the average. Excellence is not something you chase. It's something you become. Every single day, you are either reinforcing habits of mediocrity or training yourself for greatness. There is no in between. You are either making excuses, hesitating, lowering your standards, or you are building discipline, mastering your focus, and taking relentless action. The difference between those who win and those who don't is not luck. It's not natural talent. It's not intelligence. It's the daily commitment to excellence. It's the choice to show up and operate at a high level, no matter the circumstances, no matter the obstacles, no matter how they feel in the moment. Because success is not about what you do once. It's about what you do every single day. It's about how you wake up in the morning. It's about how you guard your focus. It's about the discipline you enforce, the standards you uphold, and the way you carry yourself, even when no one is watching. Excellence is not a skill, it's an identity. And the moment you decide to make it a way of life, everything changes. Your confidence grows, your results accelerate, your mindset strengthens. You stop being controlled by distractions, hesitation, or temporary emotions. You start leading your life with purpose, execution, and an unshakable commitment to mastery. The people who succeed are not waiting for the perfect moment. They are not waiting to feel motivated. They are not waiting for permission. They make the decision right now to operate at a higher level, to set the standard, to show up differently. And that decision is yours to make. You don't need more time. You don't need more information. You don't need to wait for anything else. The only thing that matters is what you do today, the action you take, the standards you enforce, the way you execute right now. So the question is, will you choose excellence? Not just today, not just when it's easy, every single day.
Good morning, team. I hope you are well. Hello, hello. Please give me a 3 in the comment section if you are here and you are already excited for our first edition of Wake Up and Win, Team 5 a.m. Good morning. Good morning. Annele is excited. Who else is excited? Eagles. I know I caught you off guard. I know I caught you off guard. But because you are ever ready, FBOs, you woke up and as soon as you found my message, you jumped onto our appointment. Welcome. My name is Manager Sbusi and I am based in Eswatini, Manzini. I am super excited to be taking you on this journey of starting our day right. Eagles, if we are going to be successful, we're not going to be successful because we recruited a superstar. We're not going to be successful because people are buying a lot of our products. We are going to be successful because we are choosing excellence. In our morning motivation video, for those that were able to listen since the beginning, we were learning alarms. We were learning about excellence. Please make time to go through the audio. If maybe you joined late, our replay is going to be up on YouTube. But Jim Rohn is talking about excellence. He's talking about excellence, and he's saying excellence is not a skill, excellence is an identity. This ties so well with our theme for this month, Team Eagles, and our theme is build habits that show a different identity. This is why our book of the month is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Please tell me if you are excited in the comment section to be starting on a new journey of personal growth, to be starting on a new journey of building a new identity for yourself. And this is something that I deliberately wanted us to do in December, because I know that in December we let our guard down, we ignore everything, we close our books and we tell ourselves that our business will resume in January. I don't want that for us. We are eagles, we're not chickens, we don't do like the masses. We decide to create excellence for ourselves. So, the whole idea of these meetings is to create a system of success. It's to create a system. Somebody type system in the comment section. It is to create a system of success. So success is not something that you achieve the day you rank up. Success is not something that you achieve the day, somebody, joins your team and they come with so much momentum. Success is not something that you achieve the day you get to recruit 5 to 10 people a month. Success is who you are. Even on the days when you are not winning, if you've made success your identity, you are able to pull through. So I want us to really, really think about leadership. Are we leading, and are we leading ourselves? Are you an assistant supervisor that just joined the business, a preferred customer, and every time you think about leadership in our business, you think leadership is for the managers, leadership is for the supervisors? I'm sorry to be the one who is breaking this to you. You become a leader the day you sign up and say, I want to change my life for forever. But you need to now guide yourself to say, are you leading yourself, Anele? Are you leading yourself, Nozipho? You don't want that question to come from your manager. You want that question to be a question that you constantly ask yourself every time you make a decision. Every time you make a decision to sleep at 1 a.m., doom scrolling on TikTok, eating junk in your bed, and with no intention of creating a better tomorrow. That is a decision that you have made and said, I am leading myself this way. Every time you decide not to read messages in the group and go for 3 days, now that is how you are leading yourself. So we need to understand that leadership and success, it's not something that you get once. It's not a title. It's something that you vote for with the actions that you take every day. Somebody say vote in the comment section. Every time you take action, every time you make a decision, you are casting a vote towards future you. If you decide maybe to not sleep early, you are casting a vote towards future you. So the question that I want us to consistently ask ourselves throughout the month is, would manager Nozipho do this? Would Diamond manager Nozipho do this? Because we have a tendency of thinking that our top leaders got there by accident, or they got there by luck, or they got there because their team were working hard and they pushed them up. I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, a diamond manager knows that they're going to be a diamond manager at assistant supervisor level. The choices they make, the kind of things they listen to, the kind of interest they have when they, go online, the kind of conversations they have with themselves in their head, that is, something that decides for them that 10 years later in the company, they are going to hit diamond manager rank. So I don't want you to be very preoccupied with what is happening in your business right now. I want you to think about, if I continue this way, if I continue consuming what I'm consuming online, if I continue eating the way I'm eating, if I continue showing up the way I'm showing up, if I continue walking the way that I'm walking. I saw someone showing up with a bonnet, and I'm just like, I'm happy this is the first day, because by the time we hit our 21st day with these morning sessions, I know for a fact that all of us are going to be waking up before time, freshening up, sliding into our gym gear, and coming to the meeting, because we know that there is no way you can wake up and look at the meeting, from your bed with a warm blanket and still make success for yourself. I know it was our first day. We're still trying to ease into the routine, but believe me, the decision that you take, even before the day, even before you go to bed, and you say, I have my gym gear set aside there. I have my smartwatch, sports watch charged, because in the morning I am waking up, freshening up, sliding into my gym gear, taking my sports watch, coming into, the 5 a.m. meeting, taking my alu so that I am energized, having my water ready so that I'm energized. And by the time it's 5 a.m. the next day, you've made so many decisions that are setting you up for success. So that Nozipho is not going to wake up at 5 a.m. and wonder what is happening on TikTok and wonder what is happening on Facebook, what is trending on Facebook, because they've already decided the kind of morning they're going to have. So when we're talking about self-leadership, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about making decisions that set you up for success, preparing yourself for a team that you do not have. I remember when I was new in Forever, I might have been very delusional because within my first week, I was already recording voice notes and dumping them in a WhatsApp group that did not have a team. I believed that I am called for greatness, I am called for leadership, and by the time God blesses me with a team, they must find me ready. I was already watching a lot of Jane Leach videos, a lot of Forever UK on YouTube, because I wanted to be ahead. I wanted to be ready for the team that I didn't have yet. So my question to you is, should God bless you with those 5 to 10 members in your downline this month, what are you going to tell them? Are you going to say, Leaders Buse has a system for us to win, so I'm going to just share the link. Please join so that you are motivated. What about you as their leader? What about you as their sponsor? So, by taking advantage of our mornings, we are creating the kind of leaders that we admire, the kind of leaders that we aspire to be. So, owning your mornings sets you up for success. You do not conquer the day at 2 p.m. You conquer the day in the morning. Because whatever happens in the morning is going to set you up for success. If I wake up and I immediately look at the system and I'm stressed about CCs that did not come through in November and I'm frustrated, I'm looking at the debt that is piling up, I'm looking at the messages that I'm not able to get through, already my day has been defeated. I'm already done at 5. Sometimes when I take my morning walks, I'll see people in their cars early in the morning, and I will see them, that hey, this person is already hating the day, man. They are already thinking about the emails. They're already thinking about the relationship they have with their boss. They're already thinking about the mess they left back home, their marriage that is frustrating them, their kids that lost maybe their jersey, and they already hate the day. They're stuck in traffic and they already hate the day. And then there's me who's taking my morning walk. What am I doing? I am pumping adrenaline. I am, creating happiness. I'm creating happiness for myself. I'm listening to something motivational. I'm already working on myself. I've already taken my shot of aloe early in the morning. So now, after 365 days, who is going to have success? The one that decided to design their life versus the one that is following a script that has been written for them by society to follow. That, yeah, you need to go to work and you need to serve at work and you need to show up and you need to, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going to work. Some of us are going to work now, but because they started by working on themselves in the morning, whatever that is going to happen today at work is not going to affect them. So we started the day with a short Jim Rohn motivation video. And he speaks about discipline. He speaks about intention when it comes to changing your life. How intentional are you? So we are going to be starting the month and reading the book Atomic Habits. Maybe you're asking yourself, there's so much that you've already said that we must do. When will I get the time to read? I shared a soft copy of the book. If you do not own the hard copy, I'm still going to share the YouTube version for the audio, for those that will want to listen on the go. I'm going to be listening to Atomic Habits as I head out this morning for my morning walk. So why are we listening to Atomic Habits? Because this is a system that has been proven to build good habits. Whenever you're not achieving, whenever you see yourself that I'm falling short here, I'm not achieving my sisters, my weight is getting out of control, my sleeping habits are just spiraling out of control, I don't understand myself, I'm always tired, I'm always sad, I'm not the leader that I want to be. I want you to realize that it is not what you see, it is the habits. As I said, you cast a vote for the kind of person that you want to become by choosing right, by the habits that you choose. So we don't wake up and say, how can I be a manager that is effective? You don't think and obsess about that. You take small actions, take small habits that, when compounded, they bring together the identity that now you can be someone that people look up to. So we're going to read more on this as we dive into the read for the month. But the most important thing is, are you a winner? Ask yourself. And every time you make a decision, whether good or bad, ask yourself, would a diamond manager do this? Would my manager do this? Every time you see someone and you hesitate to prospect them, ask yourself, would my leader do this? Would they chicken out when they see someone, instead of approaching them, with a smile and asking for their contact because I have an amazing opportunity that I want to plug you with? And then by the end of the day, that person has 5 people that they've contacted, because they just assume the identity that a top recruiter would not chicken out when it's time to reach out to a new person. A top recruiter would not leave the house without a clear bag. A top recruiter would not leave the house and already feel defeated, because that energy that I'm bringing is what is going to cause the next person to not hotspot excitement from me. Because if I'm not excited, I'm not expecting my prospect to be excited when they see me. If I'm not excited, I'm not expecting my team to be excited. So the team hotspots your energy, the prospect hotspots your energy, the customer hotspots your energy. If you just approach a customer with, I just need you to support me, then you will never have a customer. If you approach a prospect and say, please join my team, I've been in the business for a year and not even one person has joined, no one will join you. If you seem excited, you are consuming your aloe with excitement, you're doing it with or without them, they will say, hi man, there's something that is happening in that team, let me join them. All right. And then the importance of physical wellness in our business success. There is no way, ladies and gentlemen, we can be building massive success for ourselves when our bodies are not healthy. So I don't know what your strategy for physical wellness is going to be. I don't know what it is going to be. Maybe it will be just to park the car and walk if you're able to walk to work. Maybe it's going to be to wake up and put on an exciting exercise, 10 minutes exercise video, and try and do that 5 minutes of workout in the morning. Maybe it is going to be, instead of sleeping late, sleeping early, so that you're able to have the energy for the next day. But another thing that I want to emphasize on is we have amazing products. We have top of the range products. So I want you to incorporate our products into your physical wellness strategy. I want us all to have the aloe, guys. I want us all to have the aloe and to consume the aloe first thing in the morning. Because if we do that, you won't need Red Bull or Score or Reboost, because you already have a natural boost of energy. Maybe you won't even need coffee, because you will have a natural boost of energy. And then we take lots of water. Lots of water is going to help us. Already it's hot, but more than anything, you don't want to think about juice early in the morning. Already that is slowing down your system. Remember that we need to be in our best energy, so that we're able to perform, in our best of our abilities. So taking your supplements is a no-brainer. If you don't have your supplements, make sure that you order your supplements as soon as possible. Using your aloe products, your tooth gel early in the morning, your avocado soap early in the morning, your aloe vera jelly early in the morning, Your heat lotion, I'm going to be heading out now. I need the heat lotion early in the morning. So these are just some of the things. They're small, but we really need to be reminded to do, because if we don't, we then fall short. And then what you see when you're no longer performing, what you see on your FLP 360 is a result. It's a result of all the things I've talked about. So the problem here is that when we set goals, we are results driven. Most of our goals, I want to be a supervisor, it's a result. That's you and your team doing 10 CCs. I want to be a manager, that's you and your team doing 120 CCs. But instead of setting results-based goals, how about we set effort-based goals to say, I want to talk to 10 people a day. Automatically, the CCs will take care of themselves. I want to drink 1 alumini a day or have an alumini a day. I want to wake up and move. I want to join the 5 a.m. classes with our leader every day. As you do that, it then creates the results compounded over time. And at the end of the month, that is why we see you winning. We don't see you winning because you wanted to win. We see you winning because of the decisions that you took. So I'm not going to be long because some are rushing to work. Set daily goals. That's the last one that I'm going to talk about. Set daily goals. And then make it a habit that every evening before you go to bed, you reflect on those goals. You don't have to have 10 goals. You don't have to have 10 goals, but you need them. You cannot live your life without direction. I'm going to give you an example for those that use the Uber app. For those that know how to use the Uber app. Before you use the Uber, what must you do? You need to tell the app where you are. So, ladies and gentlemen, our goals are not going to be the same. Where are you now? Maybe the sessions are finding you in a place in your business where you had not placed an order in the past 6 months. You have not talked to anyone. You don't even have a team. You don't even know what you're doing. You're actually regretting the day you signed up at Forever. That is where you start. Being honest with yourself, writing it down that on the 2nd of December 2025, I was at a place in my business where I had given up. I was already looking for another business to do. I did not really know, what I was doing in Forever. I am at 0 CCs. I'm not a producer in my team. I'm the complainer. I'm not congratulating people in WhatsApp groups. Everything is weighing me down. Everything I am not a team player. That is where you start. So that you say, by the end of the month, I want to be here. And then the habits that we're going to be, implementing, they are creating that identity. They are taking us there. Worry less about the goal, where you are going, and worry more about the direction. Ask yourself, if I continue doing what I am doing at the pace at which I am moving, what kind of results am I going to have on 2 December 2026? That's a question you need to ask yourself. It's the trajectory. Don't worry about when it's going to happen. When am I going to be a supervisor? When am I going to be a manager? Ask yourself, if I continue doing things the way that I'm doing them, where will I be on 2 December 2026? Because a year from now, you are going to be harvesting from the habits that you are, implementing every day. So set daily goals. And these goals cannot be set if you don't know where you are. Number 2, where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? You need to know where you want to be. I cannot want it for you. I cannot desire it for you. I want you to be a manager. I want you to, to be an eagle manager. You need to want it first. And what I do as your mentor, I listen to you. And then I help you get there. But I cannot help you get, somewhere where when you see yourself, you don't see yourself there. So now we have 2 points, the starting point and the desired destination. It's easy now. And then you click on the Uber app. You then see all the vehicles. They tell you this one is 3 minutes away. This one, will delay a bit, but it's going to be cheaper. Now you're asking yourself, which one do I want to take? Do I want to take the one that is cheaper but it will take, it will get me there late, or I want to take this one that is 2 minutes away. Now that is the agency in which you are implementing. Because you can say, I want to start in January, or you can say, I want to start tomorrow. I've been challenged. I want to wake up and do it like my leader. So it's up to you. You create agency. I don't know who said this, but they said it can take, I think it's Elon Musk, you can take 30 days to clean your house, or you can clean your house in 24 hours. At the end of the day, you're looking for a clean house. But now the thing is, how fast do you want your house to be clean? How urgent is it for you to have a clean house? Because if you want it to be clean in 30 days, you can just clean maybe one portion a day and, but if you want your house to be clean tomorrow, then you're going to put more intensity, more pressure, more agency in the way you're doing things. So labanye they will never become supervisors in the near future because they are not putting agency in their actions for their business. If you bring one person a month into your business, you are actually doing it right. But if you bring 5 people a month into your business, then you're applying agency and saying, I'm not going to build a 6-figure business by, sometimes I'm not sponsoring, sometimes I'm sponsoring one person. So it depends on how fast you want it. And how fast you want it also depends on how fast you grow, because you're not going to bring 10 people into a business that when yourself, you are not ready to lead them, right? So you set daily goals, and these goals need to always be tied around your identity. You have a choice whether to scroll or read a book. You have a choice whether to join a meeting or not join a meeting and sleep a little longer. You have a choice whether to drink your alu or to drink your coffee or your energy drink. You have a choice whether to order a product or not. This is why they don't say drink and wake up every day and drink the alu. Maybe you'll be confused because awunayo i-alu, right? So you made a choice to not order. So that choice is now affecting your product consumption and so on and so forth. So you set daily goals. You set daily goals and then review. Most of our goals then cannot be all over the place. They need to be around personal growth, which is the decision you made now to say, I want to wake up and listen to something that is going to grow me. The second decision is around prospecting. You cannot, as a network marketer, go a day without connecting to new people, whether online or offline. You must. It's a must to collect people's numbers, to start conversations. So starting conversation is something that you need to learn. And I know sometimes you're shy and all those things, but your goal should also be around prospecting. We normally say 3 to 5 people a day, but if you really are, are trying to bring more volume and momentum in your business, you can even go as far as 10 people a day. Your social media activity. Ask yourself, how am I going to show up on social media? And that, ladies and gentlemen, you may have to even schedule the day before so that you're more consistent. And say, I've done my 5 posts for Facebook. I've already scheduled. There is an option to schedule where you put the date and the time the post will go up on its own. You are now what? Creating an identity. Because guys, when people join us, they join the identity. They join, I want Anele because I know Anele is a hard worker. She's consistent. So someone who's consistent is not going to do it today and not do it tomorrow. Someone who's consistent will also have systems that help them with consistency. And that includes batching your content, recording your TikTok drafts and keeping them there so that when you wake up in the morning, you just publish and you are running. Okay. And then your goals should also be around team support. If you have a team, what are how are you supporting your team? Are you calling them? Do you have a WhatsApp group where you talk to them? Of course, that varies at different levels in your business. When you're still new, you have a few people, you can always talk to them one-on-one. But now, some of us who have big organizations, it's now hard to reach out to everyone. So team support is also part of, your daily operation method. How are you going to maybe just write, today I just want to call all my supervisors, or I want to call 2 people in my team that haven't ordered in the past 6 months. I want to find out how they're doing. Sometimes it's not about the sissies. Sometimes, you call someone, you find that they are not in a very good space, but you didn't know as a leader, maybe because you were not, in touch. So your goals should also include, I've already mentioned physical wellness and all those things. Your goals should also include following up. Ladies and gentlemen, the fortune is in the follow up. We follow up a lot on month end, but when the month starts, we forget. If we followed up the way we follow up month end, we'd go far in life, in our business. So your goals should also include following up. 2 people, maybe 3 people, calling them. Sometimes following up doesn't look like a follow up. You see someone's status, you just engage with it. The next thing you hear them say, hey, I'm ready to join. Or hey, Coach Awati, how much is the Statue Journey combo pack? You are following up that way. Or say, hey, give a compliment on their status. The next thing that person is going to, remember that they made a promise to you. Following up to your customers that bought the products, finding out if they still have a supply of the product so that you can, give them another product so that they can replenish. All right. So those are just some of the things. I don't know what I'm forgetting, but your daily goals cannot be around a number. I hope you understand. It cannot be around the result. It has to be around how you show up. Building relationships. That is the key thing. I don't know if you're a network marketer that doesn't talk to people, that doesn't engage on social media, how are you going to build your business? And last but not least, inviting for our evening meetings. Tonight we have a WhatsApp presentation that is going to be led by Supervisor Nonduduzo. Inviting. You cannot have the business without inviting. Sometimes you complicate this. All you have to do is follow the system. The system is saying, talk to people, invite them, contact them, invite them to presentations. It doesn't say present to them. Why? Because we have created systems for sharing the information. All you have to do is share the link with them. So I've already created the poster for tonight and the link as well. Just share it with your prospects. Tell them and give a brief, idea of who they can expect to learn from tonight. The lady who is doing this presentation, she is a supervisor in our business, a graduate who didn't get a job in, what she studied for. And then she decided to join forever. And, as a result, she's doing well for herself and she's going to be sharing how this business, works. And even in the way you're thinking, remember you're a business person, so you need to target. Now go and look for other graduates. Go and look for other students and invite them because they may relate to her story, right? So that's how we do it. So on a daily basis, you use the product, you work on yourself, you approach people for the business, at least 3 to 5, and you make sure that you invite them to the meeting, you do your follow-ups, and every decision and every choice you make must be tied to the kind of person that you're trying to become. A leader is going to wake up and work on themselves. A leader is going to wake up and attend meetings. A leader is going to wake up and use the product. A leader is going to talk to people, always wearing a smile, always being someone who's approachable. When you're online, you're not always bombarding people with your product. You are building relationships. You are laughing with people. You are commenting on their statuses. You are congratulating them. You are wishing them happy birthday. You are saying condolences, because those things matter now. When we start to ask the question, hey, are you interested in the business? They look at you and they think, I've never even heard from you. I've never seen you engage with my content. Now you are recruiting me. And that is not how it works. Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, I'm going to close this meeting because I know some of us are rushing to work. Some of us, have a lot to do. And I'm also heading out, for my morning walk. Thank you so much for joining. You can catch this replay on YouTube. And please invite your team members. If you already have a team, invite them. I think the next one that we're going to have together is going to be on Thursday. Please show up for it and show up with excellence. Remember, you cast a vote for the person that you want to become. Please don't forget to be relentless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. I love you all and I want you all to win and I want us all to make it. But I cannot do it for you. Eagles, I cannot do it for you. I can only show you the blueprint. I can only lead by example. If you want to come with me, you need to leave the excuses leave the justification, stop playing the victim, and show up. Remember, we're reading Atomic Habits. Go and read your book. Go and listen as you're driving to work. Yeah, because I know our lives are not the same. Thank you so much, team. I love you all, and I will see you for this kind of meeting on Thursday. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.